What is happening, y'all? Welcome on back, episode 5 of the walkthrough. As a reminder, I suggested you should do this out at Lenny's Rise a little bit. We're just doing a couple ball farms, so I'm just showing that briefly again for those that missed the early episodes. You're gonna ride right around here, it's gonna spawn the ball, and then you're gonna run out of the way and watch the ball fall off. So doing that, we just did it 5 times to net us about 10,000 souls. And then we're gonna go get things fully upgraded and head on out. So as I mentioned, dialogue-wise, our merchant... Oh, I always get it this way. She is now over here for spirit tuning.
Well, I took you no matter to lay out your own.
So, once you know what weapon we're going for, take it, upgrade it. If you really want to go higher, I mean with the 10, I could take this up to +4, but I'm not incredibly worried about that right now. This thing is, it's pretty substantial already. Instead, I'm going to pick up a couple levels just to get to 18 so that I can one-hand this thing. There we go. Alright, so now we can one-hand our weapon. Because this is heavier, what I did is, we still have no helm on, and then I switched to the Traveler's Gloves and the Traveler's Slops. Looks like I could use the Traveler's Hat as well, but that looks pretty goofy, and to be honest, I'm more concerned about my fashion. But yeah, so our Bloodhound Fang +3, this will be ready to go. If you're doing a different style build, any of these early weapons that we have found should be more than sufficient to get you going. Now resting at the Grace briefly and looking at the ashes, you'll notice that our weapon isn't on this list. And that's because this is a unique weapon. Now, unique weapons like the Bloodhound's Fang, they have a skill that's exclusive to them, whereas these all just say skill. If it says skill, you can change it off. If it doesn't say skill, then we need to, it's locked with what it has. And Bloodhound's Finesse isn't a bad move at all, so I'm fine working with that. But just something to keep in mind. If you're like, hey, why can't I do my thing? Well, that would be why. So we are going to be starting from Agheel Lake North. And we got a lot to do. First thing, let's turn off night. We don't want things to be nighttime right now. We're going to kill the nighttime bosses, but we're going to do those after we've had a chance to get a couple levels. Which, since I do have a little bit more, let me pump my endurance up. Alright. So the first thing is from this Grace, we're just going to head out east. Little graveyard here. Or memorial, whatever you want to call it. We're going to run past that for now. We're going over to this little encampment. Now that we have some upgrades, our new weapon should be doing really good damage. There's the weapon art. When it comes to enemies that are on horses, you can damage both the enemy and the horse. And if you knock the horse down, you can walk up, press R1, and get a special critical while the enemy is on the ground. Caden armor and trousers. Whoa, I like how this looks. I have both on? Yeah! Right, warrior man. So after that, let's see, out east we got the cookbook and some fire grease from this place. Out east of the broken structure for a Grace, which is going to be right on over here. This area, just a little bit north of here, is one of those deathbird things at night. So below us is going to be Murkwater Catacombs. You can kind of fall down through there, but just to be safe, just fall Oh, no. I'm not going to be able to reach that. Oh, we're still good, looks like. There's some skeletons here. Poison bloom. Grabbing up some of these things. Now, if you aren't using the same weapon I am, for these catacombs in particular, having a weapon that has Sacred on is going to be really helpful. And I'll probably actually pull out my old Sacred weapon just to show that. But we're going to be burning through a lot of the early dungeons, so this episode I'm going to try to hit Murkwater Catacombs and Cavern, hit the Great Axe, Waypoint Ruins, a couple different things. I think this might actually be a stone guy catacomb. Yes, it is. So, do I have any throwing knives yet? I don't. That's okay. You can see these dudes up. They're going to try and ambush you. If you're a caster, you can pop them off. You can see a trap on the floor right here, so be careful of that. What I like to do in situations like this is run into the room and try to lure them back, and then hit the trap and then get off to the side. You can see the trap did a little bit of damage to that guy. We're also luring them out now. Against enemies that are going to throw things, it's nice to have a shield. Stay behind the shield. And you can even do the counterattack off of blocking a throwing item. So this is a good time. If we look at this, I want to point out that it says, you know, slash upwards with the Bloodhound's Fang using the momentum of the strike to perform a backward somersault and gain distance. Follow up with a strong attack to perform the step attack. And in general, a lot of skills are going to have like a 1-2 type thing. So with this one, I need to use my left trigger for the unique skill and my right trigger for that follow-up attack. Something like this, as you can see when it says allow additional input allows for a follow-up attack, that means you're going to want to hit that button a second time. So with this, it would be L2, L2, whereas this is L2, R2. Remember the trap. We're going to head on down this way. There's going to be more of these little statue dudes. I think there's one that comes down from above. Now that they're all aggroed, we can trap. I need to get rid of the shield, or at least take the skill off of it. I tried to do my Bloodhound step, and instead I just dodged or parried the air. But hey, now we won't have the rune icon on the map anymore from where we left them way out in Caelid. We keep our things two-handed. So you don't need to worry about killing everything. Those guys are going to stay down there. I hear one guy that dropped from above coming. And then we have the boss fog. Go summon our wolves, get a little bit away till the wolves start distracting. And then when he's open, we get in with our heavies. Right there we had a bleed proc, and that's exactly why I like this weapon so much. This thing deals a lot of damage, and it also is going to proc some bleed. So in general, when you clear out catacombs, I'm not seeing any in this one, but you'll usually find a lot of root resin sitting right around the end here. And you're always going to want to pick that up. Root resin is allowed, you use that to make like stuff you can apply to your blade. So stuff like fire grease, magic grease. It just adds additional elemental damage onto your blade in a similar manner to how we were buffing our blade earlier with some stuff. So we got the summon upgrade mats there, we got the battle hammer. We're going to go this way, and we're actually going to trigger an invasion. So this is going to be your first taste of PvP. But a guy's going to come and help us out, so don't be too scared. Well, actually, technically it's PvE, but your first experience fighting something that isn't a monster. So you can see the dismount happen. That's how I know that something's about to go down. Now, if you just wait a little bit, another guy is going to summon on in, and he's going to help, so especially if this is your first time ever dealing with one of these things, I suggest just waiting. I want y'all to have a... Do not let this thing backstab you or start hitting. He actually has dual bleed daggers, so he can build up bleed really fast. And I don't know why Yura isn't showing up. I might have to actually hurt this guy a little bit before the other dude comes in. Meter you can see building. There he is. Bloody Finger Hunter Yura.
The bloody finger. The end is nigh. For you. And justice, blood.
But now that he's here, this fight's basically over. Crazy dragonflies. Now we got our Fur Calling Finger remedy. And the Reduvia. So that Fur Calling Finger thing, that is the multiplayer item I was talking about. Popping this will let you see PvP signs, cooperative signs. I hate these things. They're not worth trying to attack with a melee weapon at all. And we also got the Reduvia. That is a dagger. It's for arcane style builds. This thing will do a lot of bleed buildup. I actually use it as one of the main weapons on the arcane build I put on the channel, but that's a super late game thing, so if you're following this guide as like a first experience, I wouldn't suggest looking at that. You'll spoil a lot of things for yourself. We're gonna go through this, run in the bush a little bit. There should be a bell here. Ringing the bell is gonna alert everybody like he's here, but these guys are pretty basic, so I'd rather they just group up. Oh no, that whiffed. Everyone's gone. Good. All right. There's some mushrooms down here. I'm just gonna grab them. In general, if there's loot that's like not very useful in the future, I'm just gonna point it out. Like I know a couple areas where it's like, oh, there's 5 throwing knives or 10 arrows. Like, I don't know. I might grab it. I might not be able to help myself. So go on down. Open this chest. So I just start beating his ass. Oh god. Or let him poke you to death. We're not actually going to kill this guy. We just need to do some damage to him. When he does that, you can really get in and start hurting him. Ooh, that was close. That was a blood proc.
I surrender. White flag and all.
Almost just killed him outright. Yeah, don't kill him. Let's see, we're gonna get the Grovel for Mercy emote.
Finally come round, have you?
He's gonna become a merchant for us, and he has a quest line of his own.
Man of reason. True and true. Well, what do you know? Now, how did I took you for an innocent mistake? I assure you. Well, water under the bridge. A true man of reason. I'm Patches. Patches the untethered. Tarnished like you, only free-spirited. Nomadic, you might say. Only for now, in exchange for an honest, frankly. So don't be... I'll be ready to wheel and... Don't forget, I'll be ready to wheel...
So the next time you encounter him, he's going to be a merchant. He also ties into the Volcano Manor quest line, but that's not going to be for a while. If you really want to kill Patches, you'll get a bell bearing. Use that later. I don't recommend killing any NPCs indiscriminately because, you know, you never know. You never know. And with the size of this game, I would not be surprised if, like, 3 years from now, there's some hidden questline interaction that people discover, which is exactly why I wanted to target this as a platinum walkthrough. Like, obviously, we're going through and we're getting as much stuff as we possibly can, but I would not be so vain as to say this walkthrough is going to get 100% of every single item and thing in the entire game. Like, no, there's, I mean, I would like to hope so, but there's no way to guarantee that. So we're making a concentrated effort to get all the loot, and at the very least, we're definitely going to get y'all platinum. So we're just kind of heading up on this plateau. We're getting out of the lake right now. And what we want is that caravan. Now, to get the caravan to stop, you need to basically slow down the giants. The one dude that's a threat is this guy, so we're going to run up on him, charge a heavy. And if you want, you can fight all these guys. I mean, it's dudes to fight. The biggest thing is you got to get the giants to stop, so you should be able to just whack one. Now that the caravan has stopped. Open it up. Here's another weapon for my strength boys, the Great Axe. So in general, I think the Great Sword's the superior weapon, which is why I was suggesting you upgrade that first. Great Axe not bad, but I mean the Great Sword has the reach, and you're gonna want reach in this game. There's nothing is more irritating than when you're trying to hit something and you're just failing over and over again because it's too tall for you. Right. Well, we need to go up there, but first. Went a little too far. Let's go back. We gotta go east. Great Axe. We're gonna hit Waypoint Ruins, which will get another early sorcery merchant. We're gonna go to that encampment down there to get a sorcery scroll. There's some big poison things here. Don't worry about the poison things. Actually, there is some brief loot right here. Grab. In general, anytime you go to a map and it's called Ruins, like how this is Waypoint Ruins, there's going to be one of these lower entrances you can go into. So get our wolves up. Pumpkinhead can be a little bit tricky because you can't do a lot of damage to this front. You can only really get damage from behind. His head will block stuff, so... replenish all of our flasks, so quick rest, and we have enough things to pick up a couple levels. So at this point I'm going to get my endurance up to 15, and then after that I'm going to work my vigor up. In general, when it comes to leveling, what I would recommend is you get your stats high enough to meet weapon requirements, If you're using something like the greatsword that needs 31 strength, I wouldn't worry about going all the way up to 31. I would just two-hand that. You know, that's not a... You're using that with both your hands. You're not running around with a shield and a greatsword. Well, regular greatsword, yes, but not the greatsword, colossal greatsword. But yeah, so your biggest thing, hit your stat requirements. So for us, that's going to be 18, 17. Beyond that, health and endurance are good. You always want enough endurance to be at a medium roll. You don't want a fat roll. You're going to have a bad time with a fat roll. And vigor is always a fantastic stat to dump into. Now, if you're a caster, leveling up mind is going to be dependent on how much you need for spells. Towards endgame, this is going to be your dump stat. On my casters, I was around 25 to 35 mind towards the end of the game. And as for a melee character, like the guy we're playing, the only thing that we want to consider with our FP is the cost of summons. So if you find a summon and you need more FP to be able to summon it, maybe level mind. Otherwise, just keep that at 10. For casters, you're not going to be really worrying about strength and dex, so you're going to want to get at least enough intelligence or faith to be able to hit your spell requirements. But in general, whereas with weapons, our damage is largely going to come from our scaling late game. So, you know, late game with a build like this, both of these are going to be 40. Whereas with casting, it's going to come from either your int or your faith. So late game, that should be like 60. So if you're playing a caster, your biggest things is going to be just enough endurance for mid-roll, enough mind for your casts, get a healthy amount, probably a level split between like vigor and intelligence or vigor and faith to make sure you're not getting popped in one shot. Which, on the note of casters, we have a caster merchant right here.
Tarnished, I am where you
Tell her you want to learn sorcery. She has a quest that we need to get one of the legendary spells. I see a couple different spells. Glintstone Arc, once again, if you didn't pick it up. The other ones honestly aren't that... These are good if you're playing a spell sword. But Crystal Barrage, not really good. Glintstone Stars is okay. Glintstone Pebble you start with is that's a decent one. Get Nod and Thought from her. We're going to run up top, mount our horse, and head back out. And I know there's a bunch of other stuff around. This episode, we're kind of just focused on, I guess, the eastern parts of Limgrave here. You know, looking at our map, this is all stuff that's in the east, including the castle we got back near the start. Which I suppose it would have made sense to get upgraded before we did that, but, you know, not like it mattered in the end. So up top, there's some dudes that are going to be on some bullshit. We want to rush for them and kill them first. Because that is really annoying. It's the Royal House Scroll. For those wondering how I'm doing that attack, when you are sprinting on your horse and you hit L3 to dismount, you can do a dismounting heavy attack. I also think you can do a dismounting light attack, but heavy attack that's damage. We're not really worried about light attacks. But yeah, that works pretty well in a variety of situations. You can see, while I'm in that critical animation, all the attacks made by that dude, they didn't do anything to me. time. I think we're gonna finish off the stuff. Let's look at my map here. That. So let's try and finish. Oh, there's actually a lot of stuff still. We'll head on out west. This guy turns into a rune bear. Be very careful killing him. I'm gonna show the rune bear. Big bear. Not nice bear. If you kill that bear, you'll get a larval tear, which is the item you need to respec. But that bear is probably going to beat your ass at this point. So I would just remember, oh, hey, there's a respec bear there, and worry about getting him later. Kill this very quickly and get out of there. Let's see, there's an army of crabs that summon on up. So I want to point out a fire here. The NPC that helped us earlier, he is typically at this campfire, and he's not right now, and we're going to go find him in a different spot. But it's important that you remember the location of that campfire if you're a Dex player, because he has a extra long katana, and if you want to get access to that katana, you're going to need to go there after we complete his quest line. Now, his quest line is pretty long. Late in the game, eventually we'll be able to kill him. Ironically enough, a lot of NPC quest lines end with them like going crazy and invading you, and then you kill them and get their armor. But after that point, we can come back there, and this katana will be waiting for us, and it's basically this game's equivalent of like the washing pole, so you're going to want to grab that. I should have just talked to him earlier. He was right up ahead here, but I got distracted going for patches. It's okay, we can just ride on out, and then we're gonna kill a dragon to wrap up this episode. I want to say he was right here, but this is the jellyfish overhead. Yep, there he is.
Just joining the fray? Well, I'm your Tarnished. You stay the path. Just remember, don't know your emotions. Don't stay clear of Agheel Lake, and it's as fierce, so stay clear of...
Okay. We are gonna go... Not the Cave of Knowledge. First step. Now, dragons seem intimidating, but they're actually pretty easy to kill, and actually real fast since we have up to 4,000 souls. I'm gonna hop up here and get my level 4 upgrade, because damage is delicious. Say it with me. Damage is delicious.
Well, then I presume.
I would like to purchase... Oh, no, it's 6,000. Well, you know what? Screw it. I have enough runes that I think I can pop and earn that now. And this is what I meant by saving those runes, because I could have popped all of them earlier and gotten like an upgrade. But I'd much rather save them for situations like this. Like I can see that I'm still 800 short, so I can pop 2 more of these, and then I'll have exactly what I need to meet the upgrade tier. See, look at that, 88. And now I'm ready to go fight a dragon. I have 88 runes. If the dragon kills me with 88 runes, I'm not stressed about trying to get them back. Which, once we get towards the end game, there's actually a flask we can get, a Wondrous Physic Flask, that will, it's basically a Ring of Sacrifice. So every time you would die, you won't drop your runes. So, hyper casual mode engaged. But I'm just gonna run on over this way, and there's a bunch of dudes that are out here, like, praying. We'll summon our wolves now. We're not gonna do much, but... See, the dragon's gonna swoop on in. Now, dragons are actually pretty easy to fight. They seem intimidating, but they're pretty easy if you just bait certain attacks. So if it's gonna... When it does this, you wanna just... Oh, maybe summoning the wolves was a terrible idea. In general, we want to stay right at the dragon's face to fight it. When it does that big fire breath, just Just go to the side. Alright, does that fire breath run away? There's 3 fire breaths to look for. There's the, like, wind up and sweep one, which is this guy. This is the one where you can just get to the side of the head and start hitting it. If you stay by the head, it should do a couple attacks. Does that stop? But you can jump and get a good hit on the head afterwards. Enough good bonks, it'll fall down, and then you can get a critical, and this will do a ton of damage. Dragon is down. Pretty easy kill too, right? From here, let's head on over to this spot. And looking at how much I have left to do. Limgrave, Stormfoot Catacombs, Coastal Cave, Margit, Jellyfish, Starlight Sword, War Master, Lance, and some bosses. There's a lot of stuff. This was my concern with doing the walkthrough. It's not I mean, covering the content's hard, but there's just so much stuff to pack into episodes. It's a lot. It's a lot of content to cover. If you're a caster, you should fight that exactly how I did. If you are a mage, I would suggest the same strategy, except instead you're going to be shooting it in its face with magic after dodging those stomps. And it might take a couple practices, but honestly, almost every dragon fight will go very similar to what you just saw. Actually, you know what? Let's wrap up with this area, because the next episode we gotta do. There's stuff here. There's stuff along the beach. There's stuff here, and then there's some nighttime bosses. So we'll do the caves real fast. But before we go, let's go out and spend those runes. I'm gonna do that up to 15. That feels good. Put on this. In general, a blunt weapon will work really well against these guys, if I remember correctly. Or it might be a blunt against the crystal ones, but in this particular case, whatever weapon you upgraded is going to be what works best against them. Whenever you see him mining a yellow thing on the wall, grab it. Which I don't think I did over here. No, he wasn't mining one. Or maybe I just grabbed it when I was looting. But yeah, the yellow thing, that's ore that they're mining, so always kill them. Do be cautious. These ones are okay, but some enemies, their backs will look a little bit sparkly. If you hit them with a fire weapon, it'll explode the thing on their back. High enough level that I can have a helmet back on? I can. Okay, dope. Well, actually, I don't know. None of them really look that good. I guess we'll leave this one on. Well, I did say armor is kind of pointless. In general, I'm still going to put on the highest armor I have. But, more than anything, the priority is maintaining a medium roll. If you have super heavy, thick armor, like the highest defense stuff you can find, but you're fat rolling, you're gonna have a bad time. I think there's a roll-off on this one. Not there. Oh, it's right up there. That might have been a message. Hang on. We're going to take it back up to check. It was just a message. Well, if you ever roll off on these, it's almost always the same. You'll be able to just go clockwise and hop your way back down. And I've found that to be universal in pretty much every mine in the game. You can do that. Lower this back down. We're going to need to go up to get out of here, but first we're going to grab the loot that's down here. This will give you a bunch of upgrade mats, so if you started with one weapon and you're like, you know what, I think I want to mix it up, well, you will have your mats to do that with after coming through here. No concerns about that. Alright, now we just need to roll off. I think the roll off was on this side. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that was it. Watch out for Torch Guy. I'm not dead, wow. Very surprising. Second, I never made notes for getting us our good summons. This might be the one that has the sombering drop that I was thinking of. I remember one of these has a sombering. We're just going to get up to the top and we'll work our way down. Oh, that was it right there. Oh. That's the golden runes. Where? There it is. Second here. Summonwater. The Clorthy ring. Huh, I never made a note about us going back to Summonwater. Well, this episode's just gonna go a little bit longer, because now that our weapon's upgraded, Summonwater is pretty easy to do, and we're gonna get a better summon from there. I think they're a better summon. The wolves are pretty good, don't get me wrong. The wolves do respectable damage. Stomp on you. Two charged heavies. Down he goes. Giants, it's usually right here on the face. War Medallion is... Let's talk about some talismans we found. Fire damage negation, kind of eh. Enhances roars and breath attacks. I haven't worked with roars much, but I will say I tried that with a couple of breath attacks, a couple of dragon breath things, and I found that it wasn't enhancing them. I don't know if maybe it's the range, but enhance is very unclear. The charged attack talisman, that thing's great. But yeah, anyway, with those done, let's head on over here real fast, and we're going to do Summonwater Village, and then that will wrap this episode with us having knocked out most of Eastern Limgrave, with the exception of some nighttime bosses, which we're going to be getting those in a later episode. Now you can summon your wolves if you want. This guy's really easy. His moveset's pointless. He doesn't really do anything. And he kind of tries to hit you with his boat, but for the most part you can just kind of beat him. You can even do the whole fight mounted if you want. It's going to move to a couple different locations. What I like to do with mounted attacks is I'll hold and then boom, and get them with the heavy. But this guy, we're just going to fight him off the mount just because it's easy. So that's one attack. He slams the bow. Couple loose loots around here that we can grab while we're over here. The biggest thing that we already got it from this place, and that was the green turtle talisman. Just a couple. Let's see, what else do we have around here? I mean, that was it really. We got the death root, we got the Chloranthy talisman. I swear we were just over there. Did not see that. I knew it was there, but it wasn't visible. If ever you're having trouble reaching something, just use the horse. And then we're actually going to trigger a start of a quest. Now that dude who we were talking to, D, who was like, if you spy a mariner, stay away. That quest would lead us to where we're about to go. So he would have marked a thing right here. It's that same thing that transports us out here to the Bestial Sanctum. But this NPC, he wants you to collect Death Root. Going all the way through his quest will get you a high tier upgrade mat, like a level 10. But when you find him, just hand over Death Root, he'll smell it, gobbles it on up. He's just like, nom, nom, feed me more. And you get some stuff. So now we have the Beast Eye, which is great, because anytime we're near those things, you'll see like the Beast Eye quivers. And if you're a strength boy, but you want to work a couple of incantations into the build, we now have the Clawmark Seal, which has strength and faith scaling and only a 10 faith requirement. So really low requirements on this to give you access to some basic incantations, which is nice. But yeah, with the Mariner dead, we're going to head on back to Roundtable Hold. We're going to upgrade some summons, and then we have a bunch of stuff left to do in Limgrave. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you all soon with some more.